my yeah. All right, we are live, and a happy Wednesday to everyone. I
Yeah.
think still a lot of people are joining in, so let them tune in while we just quickly set up everything. Maybe Dom, yeah, we can add Dom's sharing here. Maybe let's see. Yeah, looks nice. All right, we are getting viewers now already. That's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'll just give a quick intro of both of us, and then I think people who are watching us, they know me. I'm a bro, and I have Dominic with us,
Hey guys.
and we are doing a session from where we can plan to launch. So we are trying to do a live prompting session where we start building an app in Databutton, and then we deploy it live in front of everyone. We have already covered 2 sessions of it where Dominic is driving the show. He has already built his own CRM, which he started, and now he is in the stage where we have implemented authentication, we have implemented database, and we've also implemented Stripe integration there. So we have all of this key aspect of a full stack SaaS out there, and today we have more in the part of adding a database, which Dominic will show us. Yeah, before we go to Dominic, I'll just give a quick intro that what is Databutton for new viewers who are joining us. Yeah. Oh, we have Michael. Okay, before I go there, I'll just also say
Hey, Mike.
hello.
Hello. Oh, hang
Nice.
on. I'm a bit big there. My apologies. Hang on. Let's see if I can get this. Oh no, sorry. The camera is very poor on this laptop.
You look perfect,
So,
Nanika. All right. Okay, I will give a
must be
quick
just my
intro.
machine.
No, it's perfect. I'll go quick into what is Databutton for someone who is joining very first time here. So,
How can anybody not know what Databutton is?
but still, I'm pretty sure every week we are having new users, we are having new viewers in our live stream. So quickly, Databutton is your full stack AI app builder, and it builds the front end in React, the back end in Python, and then the agent also connects this backend, the backend which the agent generates with the front end, and you have a full stack app. And it comes with not only just about building the app, it comes up with a very powerful reasoning agent, which we have been discussing for the past at least 2 or 3 live streams, even more, since when Databutton 2.0 launched. We launched a reasoning agent which literally reasons and thinks and then executes, which is extremely powerful. And we have few plugins like the Firebase, easy to set up, auth, easy to set up, database. It's super simple. If you're someone starting with, you get a plan to execute. Everything will go through today. Dom will show us where we are and where we were 2 weeks back. And with plan and execution mode, you can build an entire app from scratch very easily. So without any further delay, it will be fantastic if Dom starts a quick intro of where we were in past 2 live sessions. And if someone who have not watched that, please make sure we have a live authentication prompting session where Dom actually built a Google sign up authentication with a database. He also built a Stripe integration in this very same app, and today we'll do the database storage. So Dom, please walk us through where we were in the past 2 sessions and what we're gonna do next today.
Yeah.
All yours.
Did we want to show L's app real quick?
That will be fantastic. That will be really good if we start with L's app. And for viewers who are joining for the first time, I just want to give a quick intro to Dom, Mike. They are our community champions. We have L. She is also one of our community champions. She has all built this particular app, which Dom will just give a quick intro now. So please, yeah, that would be fantastic to give a quick intro of L's app. Maybe I'll just put this down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So Elle is one of our community champions, and she couldn't be here today to demo this, but she recently pushed this out yesterday, and it's pretty incredible. It allows you to create, it's a product planning agent for Databutton. So when you have a new project, this allows you to kind of put the idea out there and then start thinking about questions and ideas and concepts and requirements that you may not have initially thought of. And it's so simple to use. It's pretty powerful. So I was going to go through a quick demo, and I wanted Elle to be here, but she's out today, fortunately. But
we will definitely invite Elle in the next live stream where she will talk about the entire building process.
Yeah, and so prior to this, I use ChatGPT, and I know a lot of other users use ChatGPT to create the initial workflow and blueprint of the application that you're building. And Elle has really taken this and put it on steroids. It's really incredible. So you put a project title in, and then a brief explanation. And by brief, I mean very brief. But you could make it long if you want. And it's using AI in the back end to go ahead and create a full outline of the application, which we have here. And it's a full-on chat. So this is not just a one-way conversation or a prompt that you get out like you would receive with ChatGPT. This is thinking way under the hood of where you are now, where you want to go, what features you want to see. And it's asking you specific questions like what unique features or benefits does CRM offer, what personas or demographics, what additional features. And then from here, it's creating all of the vision components, the user stories, jobs to be done, requirements, contexts, and change logs. So it's a beautiful tool to be able to track your entire application and think about things you haven't thought about.
No, I think this is really fantastic, and especially and something which in Databutton, when you start building an app, these are the few specification which you need, and I think this really, really helps if you're starting from the very scratch. All right, I think this is a great one, and we will soon need to invite Elle to actually showcase how this was built.
Yeah. But to get back to the application that we're building, so we're building LifeSync CRM, and this is a CRM that is focused just on your life. So it manages your calendar, your events, your goals, your tasks, your contacts, your relationships, all that kind of thing. And so far, we have built a homepage, a landing page. We have a dashboard. We have Google authentication, so users can sign in. We have personal information, and then we've also set up Stripe integration so that we can monetize this and add in some premium features in a paywall.
I mean, Dom, I think I still remember this color in the last, which I was not so happy about, but this is fantastic, and would be awesome if you could showcase the plans which the agent came up in the very early step.
Yeah.
And how we proceeded. That would be really helpful. Then we can just give a quick intro, like how we started building this for viewers who are very new.
Yeah. So as we demoed in the past, we used ChatGPT to create kind of an outline of what we were going to do, and then we fed that in, and we used Databutton's beautiful project creation workflow to get to this point. It had automatically created these set of tasks, and so far we've completed these 5, and the first one was the modern landing page with all the features and the value proposition, what kind of locks people into your application and why they want to use it. And immediately following that, we set up Firebase authentication. And if y'all look back at our live stream 1, I think, Avro, this took just a couple prompts to get it done, and it was
that's right.
Ready to go.
I think it was just a couple of prompts where we just click the start button and then the agent starts to work. And since then we have actually improved quite a lot, even with the Firebase integration.
Mhm.
So a few things, maybe like while you work with it, it would be fantastic if we showcase, Dom, that how you added the Firebase details out there, the 3 steps, which is very important, and which something we have discussed a lot over our Discord stream as well. That the 3 steps, which is very important. For example, enabling the authentication, whitelisting the domains, and also enabling the data store. And the agent, if you have those three things intact, the agent takes from there.
Exactly. Yeah, and I did notice that I think in this version it set up, it removes the 3 steps below here. But normally, for those of y'all who aren't familiar with Firebase, when you click on this Firebase icon, or when you start this Firebase authentication task, and when this screen opens up, it's going to have these couple lines of code, but also below it, it's going to have some very specific instructions on what you need to do.
And while you mentioned then, Dom, I just want to quickly add one of the newest feature which we just shipped a few days back. If you go back to the Firebase thing, Dom, we added a new feature which is the test the integration, test this connection. So now you are not only integrating it and just getting sure that the agent is doing the work, but you can also test it right here in Databutton, just to make sure that everything is working. And as you can see, Dom, please go ahead what's written in the chat. So the agent just tested it, and it gave the report that everything is properly working. So it's a very strong integration with Firebase we have, and we're also like trying to integrate Superbase. That's something which is coming in future. But with Firebase, I think we have pretty strong integration. Plus, Dom has showed him to the very first live stream with just 1 or maximum 3 prompts, I think, to get it done.
Maximum 3 prompts, and it's super simple to do. You start here with the web application, create your web app, and then from there you'll set up your authentication and your Firestore and your storage, and click, 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 copy, and you're done.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Super simple.
Yep. And so, yeah, last live stream we did, once we completed the Firebase integration, we moved on to Stripe. We monetized the application. And so now we're actually going to start building the core of the application, which is what the user is going to be using. And those are the tables, the contact tables, the various pages that the user is going to interact with. You know, the real meat of the CRM. And I think that the focus here is, we want to show how easy it is to work with Firebase from a database standpoint, and kind of demystify how you create collections and connections and all of those kinds of things.
That's right. I think that's a very good point. And I feel like the stage where we are with this app, you already have the authentication running. So the next step, obvious step, would be to integrate the Firestore database. So it would be fantastic. Like if Dom, you have some secret sauce out there, just spill it, how we can do it maybe in just few prompts, or how you design the database. That's also very important.
Yeah.
And how you kind of make the agent understand you. That's also very important. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to show a deeper dive into this, but as Abra mentioned, the Firebase integration has become so good that the agent is intuitively setting up the application for storage from the beginning, which I didn't realize. So to give you an idea, when we completed one of the first tasks, which was creating the user profile and settings management system, one of the options within the user profile was this upload. And since it knew that we were using Firebase, even though we hadn't set up the database here for LiveSync Pro, it just decided that it was going to set this up for future use. So this morning I went into the app just to see where we were on as far as the storage, and it did a set of checks, and I just asked it where we were, and it told me that it's actually already set it up for storage. So all I had to do was come in and click on storage like this. And if I can take you to another project that we've been playing with, but literally all you have to do is click on create storage and then upgrade your project, select a billing plan, and everything's already fully integrated. And because it's already fully integrated, it didn't have to do anything different. So I came in here and I just uploaded a simple photo. And if we go back to LiveSync Pro and I go over to storage, so you've got your authentication, your Firebase database, which these are your collections, right? This is all the data associated with one of your customers
Mm-hmm.
have storage, it automatically created the
Profile.
I didn't have to ask it to do that, and there's the photo.
So I think that like once you have the main authentication, and then you automatically can link it with the database. So that's why in the very beginning, in the particular model which we add Firebase, which it pops up there, if we enable the data store and authentication, I think the agent can take care of the rest of the thing. That's something which works pretty well, I've seen.
Yep. So long story short, the application is already set up to handle Firebase and Firebase storage.
Mhm.
So we don't really have any more configuration. It did it all for us. So what we're going to do now is we've obviously got our homepage and our dashboard and our logins, logouts, our profile, pricing, and everything. Again, I just went to ChatGPT and I created a little outline of some features that we wanted to implement. And so it created a list of pages that we need to create.
Mhm.
And we're going to just use the task function and start building. You ready?
Yeah, let's do that. When you start building, I will take few questions. We have one question already here. Let's do it. And while Dom prompt there, Yuri has a question. Do you think Firebase is good enough for a simple app that will create children's stories with AI with a paid subscription through Stripe? If you ask me, it is more than good enough. I think if you have a Firebase, which is basically a production level database, it's more than good enough to create such app where you can store any children's stories. If it's more like a txt file or something, you can directly store it there, extract the content, just dump it over the data store. If you want to use something with images, which Dom just showed with the photos, you can enable the storage. It will work. Today Dom is also building with storage today, if I'm not wrong. We can see that as well, how easy it is. So yes, with Firebase, you can literally build the entire production level app. And just to add one thing more, the entire Databutton runs with Firebase, Firestore database. So you can imagine all the data, like we have how many, like thousands and thousands of users, and all the data, everything is stored in Firebase. So it's literally a production level database which you're using. So there is no way there is any limitation. Yes, the starting price is very low. You can check the pricing plan. It's very low. I think there is a free for the database and the authentication. It's pretty free. For storage, it's maximum, I think, $1 or something. So it's very free to start with if you want to go for storage. And yeah, so Firebase is the best way to start it, and we have a close integration. Maybe Mike, you want to add something, because I know you have added to your one of your projects. So how did you feel with Firebase?
Yeah, I mean, I've only used Firebase. I actually knew about Firebase before I was using Databutton. I was building something myself with ChatGPT basically, and copying and pasting code and what have you before I came across Databutton. And I got to know the ins and outs of Firebase and Firestore and Auth and all of those things that you can do with it. And what's great about Firebase is, I mean, I know Supabase has this as well, but it's really straightforward. You've got the entry level kind of, you've got, I think the free level, it's got quite a decent allowance before you start getting charged, which is quite handy. So, the storage is one thing, but the Firestore itself is actually free to use. I think it's only when you start storing lots of images and media and things like that's when you can start adding up. But I know I feel as though Supabase and Firebase, there's almost like this kind of debate as to which one is better. And I mean, I know that Supabase is generally seen as better for tables, and I know Dom is much more of a Supabase user, and I suppose I'm more of a Firebase user. I don't think for most apps unless you're getting into deep complexity, I don't think it really matters which one you use, if I'm honest.
I think that's
You
a
know,
very good point, Mike. What you said. Uh, it doesn't matter as long as you are fine with your database structure. You can just like again with Superbase, what Mike said. Yes, it's table-like format. You can do that. Data. Then again, Firebase, where you can just add this documentation collection, which is just now Dom showed it. So technically, you don't even need to mess with either or. It's like if you use someone who likes Firebase, just go for
Yeah.
it. Don't even need to think about it. I think Dom would be great if you could show like how you can structure it, maybe with the annotation feature or something, like just add a screenshot and tell Databutton to have this kind of structure. That's the only thing. Or just explain Databutton to explain in a more like in a markdown format how the structure of the data would be. That's the only thing. But you can always take a screenshot and put it there and use the annotation feature to do that. That's one way. So basically, you can deal with freely with Firebase, no problem. And especially in Databutton, we already have this integration. So just go ahead with it, and it's super simple. One more thing, which I think there's a question from Mohit came. Is there any video for Superbase integration? Yes, there is a video already. I don't know. I don't remember the YouTube channel's name. There is a video. Just search Databutton Superbase, and we have a docs out there. Here the documentation, the URL out there in the comment section. So if you just go to Databutton's documentation, we call it Databutton University. Go to the integration services, and there you will get working with Superbase table, and under authentication you will find how to enable authentication in Databutton. So both of them are there. Just keep one tip in mind. Make sure you tell Databutton either you want to do it via front end or via back end. And I think there were mostly because Databutton has a robust backend as well. It has Python in the backend that's super powerful. And now if you don't explain the agent that what you want to build, then and you have, let's say you have authentication with the front end, and then you have a back end with for the data store, there is a huge chance because those are LLMs. You need to explain it. You need to transfer the knowledge to LLMs, especially in those kind of scenarios. So make sure that you're like, okay, I will have my Superbase integration via front end and the database via front end, not like one front end. Or you can do that as well, but then you have to tweak the prompt a bit. And this documentation also covers the entire prompt, the custom prompts to do it. It should be maximum 1 or 2 prompts.
Yeah.
That's it.
One thing on the Firebase integration, Dom, I know you were just showing the collections set up on Firebase. When you've got auth set up with Firebase, every user gets a unique user ID, and so if you've got data stores or just information stores in those collections, all you need to do is make sure that the agent configures it so that any collection that's allocated to a user, it uses that user ID, that unique user ID that's created for them, and then that way it will essentially propagate that across all the different collections. So your user ID for each user is your unique identifier, if you like. That means that you can then make sure that every collection has some kind of connected area, let's say, or connected data point. Yuri, I just saw your question regarding to the set up the subscription. So the subscription is actually really pretty straightforward. It's essentially the same as what Dom and Avra did in last week's live stream.
I think it's Dom who entirely did that. I was just sitting here going through the process, but it's Dom who did that.
Avra was a spectator, okay, but basically the trial option is something that you set up in Stripe. So it's essentially done as part of the table. So if you check out last week's live stream, then what you've requested or what you've asked for here, the guys talk you through building that into the app, and then all you're asking for is essentially just part of the configuration that you do within Stripe, and they have some really good documentation that outlines how that works. So it's essentially just a way of just configuring it in there. And Richard's asking, are you working on improving the Superbase integration?
I can I can just quickly answer that, and also I'll just quickly, before we move to Richard's question, very valid question, Richard. Before that, this is the link of our last week's live stream when Dom built the entire Stripe integration out there live, prompting it, and also we had a step where we debug the entire flow. So please make sure you check it out because it's fantastic to see that someone actually live debugging in in a live session. So please check it out. And one thing which I think Yuri had a very nice. I will still just highlight this question another time. Uh, One check out. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Like any of you guys. Yeah, the previous question. I was just going through that question. Any of you guys figured out how to set a subscription through Stripe with free, ideally with Firebase? It's a very, very good question. And especially the part where you mentioned ideally with Firebase. That part which I want to highlight. Also, I'll stretch what Mike said, the unique ID of Firebase. That is how you can connect or map your Firebase, which is basically where authenticated users have signed in and they get a unique UUID. That ID, plus when you do a Stripe checkout, there you can always pass this customer ID there, and you can map in your database who this ID that customer is. So that's how you do it. And in, I think in our last live stream, we did it over Databutton storage. Doesn't matter. Any storage, you just need to integrate there. It's very simple, but that's very valid point where you have the unique ID plus you pass that, you ask Databutton to pass that where the checkout is happening, and that's it. That's all. You can always map who is paying how much or whatever the conditions are. Okay. All right. So I'll just quickly jump to Richard's question. Yeah, exactly. Yes, we are working on that, but still like few things which we are working at this moment to make it as simple as possible like Firebase, but still we have faced that there are users who are building with Superbase already. And this is one of the docs which I shared just now here. It works like a charm. At least I tested it a couple of times after that. Again, I'm repeating just to make sure that Superbase has a very close integration both with its Python SDK and also with its front-end SDK. So most of the time where it is getting a bit confused is how are we integrating it? And it's very important that we say that it is via the front end. And that's what in the docs we mentioned that make sure to say via the front end. But yes, there will be a one-click button with Superbase. There will be one-click button, but right now you can already start building with Superbase. I think I don't see the reason why you cannot build, but yes, we are improving, and I think that's a very valid point. We will improve that and make it way more easier. That's right.
I think it's important as well to say that, you know, Dom and I mean, Dom's been using Databutton even longer than I have. I've been using Databutton since November, and the change and the development that has happened throughout those 4 months basically has been insane. You know, I pretty much built a full stack working app with APIs, connections to Discord, you know, various different widgets, all sorts of different features. And I did that with the old version of Databutton. Now you've got version 2, and the efficiency and the speed in which you can do things is so powerful that I'm actually now rebuilding my original app using what I learned to get an even better version. I'm doing the same with a website that I'm building for my wife, where I did a first version and now I'm doing a second version, and the second version even visually looks better than the first version. So and because with Databutton you can, you know, you've now got the cloning option, you've now got the possibility of doing the overview, of doing the screenshots. There's so many different features that the guys.
I think we just launched this annotate feature, which is really powerful. I will just quickly take this question, Mike, if you don't mind. This
of course,
is a very, very nice point from Richard. The Laravel super. I love Laravel as a product. Fantastic product. But again, so Databutton has a dedicated backend, which I think is our differentiation than any product in the market at this point. And there where we are not limited at one end, that we are not limited to front end or Superbase as its edge function. So if I'm not wrong, Laravel is using Superbase as its backend. We have a dedicated Python backend here, and there where the agent matters. So basically, at the end of the day, we are thinking Superbase as a database or not. Then we have Firebase already integrated in the product. Plus, you can use your backend to connect to Superbase or any backend in the world. So we have seen users using other backend. They're using MongoDB if they want to. So you can do that in Databutton, which is kind of a positive side. But again, if someone who is really very narrowed down to Superbase, then I feel you have to be like, we don't want to restrict user to using Superbase or Firebase.
There you
We want user to have the freedom to build with anything on this world, but at the same time, we want to make sure that somewhere something like Superbase or Firebase, which we already have, works very natively. But yeah,
Perfect.
that's a great inspiration for sure, Superbase,
Yeah.
and we will improve that. Perfect. I think that's a very important point.
And Albert, I'll point out real quick, just Mike had mentioned about making sure that UUIDs, the ID for the contact is properly linked to the data. So that way each user's data is siloed and not every user sees every. So I just asked the agent to confirm that we're doing that, not to write it in code, but just to confirm. And it did go in and check, and everything is set up the right way. So now when we create a new contact, we have this really beautiful little modal right here.
Uh-huh.
We can upload all of our data to, and we can even select which friend referred another friend. I know that sounds kind of,
That's cool.
but how did we meet? How did I meet my Databutton?
Can we already upload some photo and stuff out there?
Let's see what we got. Actually, let's see.
It'd be fantastic if we can add some name and email and just some dummy email and just add it there. It'd be fantastic.
Let's see what we got. I haven't tested it yet, so we're gonna see.
Yeah, please go ahead. Like, by the way, we just recently launched this annotation tool, and I see a lot of success with that tool, mainly because when you are working with a specific feature of the UI, that annotation tool is really helpful just to take it there, show which part to change or add or change the text. It's super useful. So yeah, if someone who is trying out Databutton, please make sure, don't forget that annotation tool out there. It's very powerful. And maybe Dom, you can just quickly show it once you are done with this prompting part. I won't
Yeah.
we won't bother you on that, but yeah, that annotation tool, try it out. It's very fantastic. And as Mike was saying, we have a clone feature already live. I think in our Discord stream, Gian was there. He announced it that he'll be pushing it to the live version today, and it's already there. So if you are someone who want to clone your app, you just need to go to the settings app, and from there you can just clone your app. It's very easy.
I think that was kind of the point I was making earlier, was the development of Databutton. Avril, you're saying about you've got the back end and everything else, and you don't want to restrict people to just Superbase or just Firebase and what have you. You can. Somebody I think asked in the Discord today, what API can they use or whatever. Essentially, any API, as long as you've got the documentation to give to the agent, so the agent understands the API call structure.
Yeah.
You can use any API that's out there, essentially.
That's a very valid point. I think that we can leverage only because we have a Python backend here.
Yeah.
And like I come from a Python open source community, and that's why sometimes I feel so proud that even in this age of where we have fantastic AI products, we have fantastic using Node.js or using React, everything is great. I think here Databutton is unique where it's still connecting to the Python and using Fast API, which is one of the, if I'm not wrong, the fastest growing open source community. Fast API is very popular. We are using Fast API routers to connect to the front end. And as Mike says, just pass a documentation of any latest API docs, which can be like most of it, like even OpenAI or any documentation, they always have a Python SDK. So you can just pass it and ask Databutton to research on it. And here comes Databutton's own tools, which we try to improve every day. is the research agent. So the research tool, rather say. So it goes research there, grabs all the context and starts writing a Python backend for you. And yes, it kind of widens the possibilities from data scientists to AI app builders or someone who's building with OpenAI or Claude or yeah, everything. Like it opens up. You don't need to be dependent on a Node.js package or NPM package or something. It's all there, and you can just use any of them. And for database, I think, and we always underestimate the fact that Databutton itself has a database, which we don't kind of endorse that much now, because uh, like how to say, our vision just shifted towards Firebase and Superbase. But Databutton actually has its own database to start with. I'm pretty sure Mike used it in the very first go, and we had a talk about that. Like, and then we're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, why are we using data out here, Databutton storage? Why don't we shift to Firebase that time?
Yeah, and that was almost partly a housekeeping thing as well, because
That's a good point.
if you're using Firebase for auth, then it makes sense to use Firebase for everything else, just to keep it
Exactly.
clean. To keep, as Dom was saying about that user ID, just keeping everything together in one place and using the same source for everything just keeps it clean. It makes it much easier to manage from a coding perspective. A lot of us, I'm not technical, pardon me, at all. So to have things as simple and as straightforward as possible is definitely something I would absolutely recommend.
And
Yeah.
I just okay. Dom has some update with that. Please, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to point something out to y'all. This is something that sometimes happens, but sometimes you'll notice that the agent will say it's code writing failed or whatever. If you use a simple prompt like, why the error is a simple task, take a step back and re-explain what's happening just very clearly, it'll come in and do it successfully. So it had a couple errors. This
Our
card
our
navigate.
prompt master spilling the secret sauce. How we can hack into redundance. Yeah, please go
This
ahead.
card
Sorry to
wasn't going to the right place, and so I had asked it earlier. I just told it that we needed to fix it, and it just
Mhm.
got confused. So all I did was I clicked the stop button down here on the right, and I just told it, "Hey, take a step back," because it is a really simple task that we're asking. And now it did it perfectly. So now when we click on our contact card for Mike,
Oh,
we get
nice.
to this contact card.
Yeah, it's just Mike's display profile picture needs to be changed. Otherwise, it's very much Mike test. Otherwise,
I, I haven't got my glasses, so I can't see what it looks like, but I'm sure it's fine.
you look perfect out there for sure. No, I'm just kidding. But I think
An
this
idea
is
for
fantastic.
Firebase. So we've added, now that we added Mike as a contact.
Mike, have you seen the field out there? Contacts, add documents, which is a user unique ID, and there comes a field out there which is called as notes. In case Mike, you cannot see that part, let me tell you, it's the note is great guy. This is great, and this is a collection, by the way. Maybe Dom, you want to elaborate this part a bit?
Yeah, so this is effectively like if you're in Superbase, this would be a record. So you have a collection that's so we have our UUID, this is the user ID. So everything that is beyond this table, if you will, or this collection is all
Documents.
associated with user. And so when you open up the user, you've got a contacts table here, or a contacts collection rather, and then you've got Mike's contact collection. And in this document, that's what Firebase documents, it's got all of the fields. And so if we want to add in a field later on down the road, that's one of the really nice things about Firebase is how flexible it is. You can just add
Just
fields
go on adding.
towards content, and there's no.
Yeah, that's right. And we do the same thing in Databutton itself. Like we go on, like if you want to add something, you don't need to create a new column or something in that way. Just go on adding their new field. By the way, coming back to the topic of database and Superbase, Firebase, I just want to like highlight another time the Databutton storage which we have. And last week when we tried to integrate the Stripe, we always say while building with AI, we should start small and then start expanding. And I think the Databutton's inbuilt storage helps a lot there, because with Stripe integration, we immediately didn't go for Firebase integration right there from Firebase storage integration. We started small, where we made sure that when the Stripe callback is happening, it stored the data to Databutton storage, and that's what Dom did. And then the next plan was like today, it will, instead of swapping Databutton storage, to go up production level, which is Firebase. So coming back to Yuri's question, if you really want to think in a way which is more like proof of concept, and you want a storage to be there, you can just use Databutton storage. If you want to go to production level, we have Firebase integration. We'll soon have Superbase integration. Just go for it. And if you want a backend, you have the Python backend as well. And I think that gives all the freedom to work with any packages on the world. At the same time, the agent is aware of using Python, using React, using a storage, everything all together as a cumulative. Because always the main idea behind the Databutton's agent is to build full stack scalable app, not a simple UI builder. And that's why we always had a backend. We didn't depend on Superbase edge functions. We always had a backend because we wanted to create a full stack app from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dom, how's it going? Yeah. Sorry.
I just was I was playing around with this call button, and again, the agent is really intuitive in how it sets things up. But this call button is activated, so it's trying to open Ring Central on my phone and call Mike right now. So these are little steps that you don't even have to do to get it. You know, the agent is really thinking 5 steps ahead every time you make a prompt.
Like we are talking so much about Databutton's agents' ability to build full stack app with backend, front end, storage. We forgot the main part of Databutton 2.0, which is the reasoning agent. And I think like we didn't touch that part, like the planning, which you see when Dom is prompting. There's a planning like that differentiates Databutton completely from any other AI app coder. There's a planning agent out there, which is planning, reasoning, discussing the next step. And that's the part where the agent try to interact, a conversational agent. But if we go back now to the plan section, maybe Dom will show you the plan section, which we have used on the live stream. There is a planning agent out there, which you can start a task, it can execute the task. So yeah, that part we overlooked today completely, but that's one of the core differentiator, I think. I think the Databutton has. Maybe Mike, you want to add something, or Dom is already there.
So we asked it to put this in and do this task, and it completed it pretty much perfectly. And so now we finished it, and now we're moving on to.
Now if we go to the prompt section, Dom, maybe we need to add that yes, it is marked down in the prompt section.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and you see like the agent is so intuitive and two-way sync. You can actually say yes, mark done, and the agent from to do will mark it as done.
Yep, exactly. And so now we moved on to the next one, which is to create the calendar so that we can create events for our contacts, reminders, to-dos, things like that. So we're moving on to that.
Yeah, and Dom will now start a new task.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
shall I do that?
Yep. I pasted just this basic outline here of
outline,
and I put it into the agent, create task, and then I told it what I wanted. And I also just made sure to mention that we also want to add some elements to the contact details page. And for those not familiar with Databutton, the hashtag symbol is the most powerful button. That allows you to link.
We don't cover that much, but I think that's something which we should remind our newest users, that if we click that hashtag, you can literally connect to each and every building blocks in Databutton's workspace. You can connect to the backend, you can connect to a task, you can connect to a UI file, you can connect to images, you can connect to every small blocks in Databutton.
And just to, sorry Dom, just to add to that, when you then add the extra layer of the overview feature, then you have got something even more powerful, because sometimes, I know Dom's other apps that he's built are very complex as well. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with what's connected to what,
Yeah,
or which
maybe
component or which part of the
I
app is it you want to talk about.
I
Mhm.
think this is really a great point, Mike. What you said. Maybe like when you set a connection, maybe
Yeah,
Dom, is it possible for you to remove the filter? Filter is fantastic, and just let's connect one of the pages.
Yep.
Maybe a page which has back and everything connected, and you see that
yeah,
the red dotted line. So it shows that in overview
Yep.
which part of a
yeah,
page, or if you explain Dom a bit, I cannot see from here, but I think it's a contact section, is a pricing section, or the contacts. Now the contact page has a UI component which is
Mhm.
in green in color, which is
Yep.
a contact card and all of this. And let's say if you have a backend, that will also show that it's connected. So you are
yeah,
seeing kind
Yeah.
of a small how to call the small
yeah,
a small snapshot of your app in one place, and you
yeah,
are seeing each and every way how it is connected.
yeah,
Again, data button is meant for building
Yep.
yeah.
scalable apps,
And
not
this
like
and this
Hollywood. Yeah,
this feature's great when using that hashtag of mentioning a particular component. When Dom clicked the hashtag there earlier, you got this huge long list of components,
yeah,
right, and huge long list of files, and you
Yep.
might not know which one it is. Whereas if you go to the overview, you can actually go in and see, right, which one am I talking about? Which one is it that I need to use? And it just makes it so much quicker and easier to interact with the agent. I mean, if you think about it, the beauty of Databutton, and this for me is the really key part, is you can have a conversation with it, and you can have you know a conversation where you don't get it to write code, you don't get it to change anything, you just simply thrash out ideas, you query things, you question things, you ask it to research things, and you can do that anytime, day or night, right?
Yeah.
It is on 24/7. And if you were trying to do this with an actual human dev who is probably, let's say for example Dom or I wanted to build our apps that we're building with a human dev, first of all we'd be paying literally thousands and thousands and thousands. I spoke to somebody today who said their quotation most recently was something like $60,000 to build their app, right? Now, I mean, that's just like mind-blowing figures, right? And it would have taken probably 6 months or a year to build out. You'd have to be emailing back and forth and everything else. Here, the agent comes back to you instantly, and you have that conversation when you have time, and off it goes, and it just does it. And I think the way that you guys have been building this, I know I said this to you guys privately, but I think it deserves being said publicly, is the way in which you guys are developing and building Databutton to have even more efficient features, even more ways in which you can do things quickly, is really, really impressive. And I think the team at Databutton
yeah.
deserve a lot of kudos and a lot of credit for what you guys are building.
Thanks, Mike. I think I will definitely. I think the team is watching, or if they're not, I'll let them know. But I think that's a very good point. In also, let's zoom out a bit. Not only about data, but I'm talking about the building, how it feels to build something when you have this kind of features, and it's a very okay. So I was having a conversation with like the dev team, or the especially with Owen, and he always think from the perspective of how a developer will build, like the restore function.
Hmm.
Would you do individual components, or you do as a checkpoint? How a dev would think about connecting each and every building blocks of it? Yes, we are kind of somewhere wrapping up this entire building process of full stack. Again, the
Hmm.
space is crowded with UI app, just the UI part, or just one prom shot, where the space is crowded with that kind of building abilities. Here comes the differentiation, where you're building complex apps, but with the idea or the mindset of a tech, but
Yeah,
for the non-techies.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I feel there where the differentiation really stands out, way the way you are building. Like you can use cursor to build the entire thing. You don't even need data button for it. Cursor
Mhm.
is fantastic. It
Yep.
also has this reasoning agent and everything to do that. You can do this tagging part as well. We take inspiration from there. but again, depends what's your technical abilities to build it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to kind of simplify that process, to
Yeah.
hide that or to wrap that up, and still to give the ability to build something which is expandable. I think
Yeah.
that what I feel somewhere it feels way more closer than just
Yeah.
to have a prompt and then the code will like zoop, suddenly comes
Yeah.
and just, you get one thing. That's great. There were perfect, but let's build beyond that,
Yeah.
and there
And
where
I
we
think
see it stands out. Yeah. Sorry, Mike.
that's where it's going to be so powerful for, you know, what would traditionally have been an entrepreneur with a business idea. They'd be going out to devs and saying, hang on a second, you know, how do I do this? How do I build this? And those devs come out and give you ideas and give you costs and timelines and everything else. Now you're looking at something that puts the power in the hands of the person with the idea. I think one thing I think though is really important to emphasize, and I think I see this a lot with new people that come into the Discord, is Databutton and frankly any AI tool, not just Databutton, but they're very much like a database or even like a spreadsheet. When you want to run a report on a spreadsheet, the data to run on a report on a spreadsheet is only as good as the quality of the data that you put in. If you have inconsistent data in terms of formatting and everything else, you're not going to get the accurate reporting that you want from a spreadsheet or from a database. The same can be said, and the same is said for an AI tool. The quality of output that you get from an AI tool is only going to be as good as the input that you give to it. So
right.
if your prompts are going to be really short and basic and vague, the agent is simply going to go away and make assumptions. Now, those assumptions are going to be based on the realm of knowledge and the scope of knowledge that it has, either from the conversations it's having with you or from what the guys have built into the knowledge of the agent itself under the hood. The more information you give it, the more context, the more insight, the more powerful you're going to get. You know, I've seen a lot of people that come in and they say, "Oh, you know, I'm eating through credits. You know, it's looping around and all this sort of stuff." I would say two things to that. Firstly, if you're not looping around, frankly, you're not really using AI, because that's just part and parcel of it, I think. You know, Corbin Brown recently did a video dedicated to, you will get stuck in a loop and an AI agent will happen. If if it doesn't happen to you, you haven't been baptized into AI yet. But the other thing is that it is drilled down into the quality of the input that you give. You know, if you're watching this and you're wondering, how can I build something, you know, with 20 credits or 50 credits or 100 credits or whatever it is, go back and watch the first two episodes of this particular series that Dom and Avra have been doing. And in particular, the first one, watch how long it took them to build out the initial MVP and the initial platform. If you prompt it correctly, if you build it carefully at the beginning, the agent will just go and do it because it's got everything at the start. It's like when you build anything, if you plan it and you structure it at the very beginning, you've then got a plan and you've got something to work towards. Without that, it just goes off and it could end up with anything.
You know, like, I love speaking with Mike. I love hearing Mike. So if everyone wants to have a direct contact with Mike, just join our Discord community out there, and you can speak with Mike there. Okay.
Mike gets too
shameless
passionate too
plug-in.
quickly. I'm gonna shut up now. Mike gets too passionate too
No,
quickly.
no. I just wanted to make a shameless plug-in out here. Please, guys, join our Discord community. It's the link which expires in 7 days. I was trying to make the unlimited link in Discord out here. No, whatever I could do that. But yeah, please join our Discord community. We're like bunch of fantastic. Yeah, we are nice guys, right? I don't think we really care about each other, and we really try to speak about AI. Like in Databutton's Discord, you will find Mike speaking about Corbin Brown or how to use cursor, or I think people speak about Grok, and we love speaking about AI. We're like typical nerds out there, so please join us. And then we built in with Databutton. So yeah,
Yeah.
Mike, any special mention? Yeah, please go ahead, Mike.
What I was just going to say about the Discord is that I'm a member of various different Discords in different industries, in trading and other things. And there's loads of communities out there. Communities is the way forward now, I think. The way the
I
world
agree.
is that communities is where apps and platforms are going to really excel, because people are looking for somewhere to belong. And what I love about the Databutton one is that it is genuinely, you meet people, and I've spoken to people in Australia, I've spoken to people in Florida. I know Dom's in Florida, but I've spoken to other people in Florida, and other people I think in Atlanta and Canada and Amsterdam and all over the place. And it's amazing to meet all these different people, and there's a genuine sense of everyone's
I think
on their own journey, everyone's doing their own thing, but they're all in it together. There's a really collaborative, supportive vibe to it, and I think that's super, super important.
I I just need to yeah, before I go there. But by the way, Emil, please.
Emil, our
will you-
newly crowned community champion.
Yes, so we are talking about the good people and the fantastic community. And trust me, being a part of the development team, I'm really proud. We have Dom, we have Mike, we have Emil, we have El, and they make this community really, really. They make sure everyone is empathetic towards each other, everyone is kind, and we make sure that this community grows together. Okay, we learn from each other, and that's something which we always prioritize. And I think that has been the fantastic part of the development community. Like, we make sure that everybody is treated with respect. We talk about AI, we learn from each other, and we grow together. And Emil would love to have you in the next live stream. It would be fantastic to have you, man. He has been building a fantastic app. Yes, actually, he was there yesterday in our Discord stream, which I again forgot to mention. We not only have this YouTube live stream for everyone, but we have a Discord stream also, where we it's much more intimate than this, because we need to speak about what products which will be launched soon, or what are the roadmaps, or what we can discuss. So please join in there. Again, the Data Button Discord link. Please join in. We can just speak about the entire product, the bugs, or something which you like, dislike. You can be here, but there also you can speak directly to our dev. And yesterday there was Jian who released this annotation tool which Dom just used.
Yeah.
Before that, let's just quickly answer this question. I think we did answer a couple of questions meanwhile. Yeah, Data Button is seriously life changing. Thank you. No, seriously. Oh, anyhow, quick quest. No, fantastic the way it is started. Are there any plans in the not too far distant future to integrate directly with GitHub, import, export existing project? Okay, so let me break down this question a bit. We have export feature already. We have that. If you go to maybe Dom, is it possible for you to show the export feature quickly
Oh, absolutely.
over the settings? Sorry. Yeah, I think I need to hide this question a bit, or maybe we just need to hide ourselves as well. Oh yeah, you see there the export feature. So settings, then app, and there you go, the export feature. Dom, maybe we show the other features out there also. So there you have the upgrade workspace, you have export code, you have undeploy app, which was recently shipped. And again, this feature was not shipped because the team wanted to, because the community wanted to have a control over deploy, undeploy. And it was shipped within a day. I mean, it's all there in the community. What is the product discussion and the support place. And we have a clone app feature, which our newest team member Jian did it, and he mentioned over our Discord stream yesterday that he's working on it and he just shipped it today. So the clone app feature is already there. So if you want to clone your app, click that, a new app will be created. You have that instant out there, the entire app will be created, and you're done. I'll just continue with this answer. So export feature is there already. You can put it over GitHub. If you ask about the roadmap of how far the GitHub integration is, I don't think it is there within 1 or 2 weeks, rather in 1 or 2 months, because the reason it's not so simple to do have a GitHub integration, because that will be two-way sync. But yes, of course, you can export the code, put it into GitHub. But this two-way sync, it's not so straightforward, especially in Databutton. You have backend in Python. you have a front end in React. We have secrets, which is we have our own secret management place for your. We call it as a Databutton tool, which has the Python package. We use that DB Python internal Python package to handle those. So we have a one-stop platform for building, for managing the secrets, for deploying. When you maintain this, and not only that, we sometimes we don't need that sync because we have something called as restore function, which we are going to improve in coming days as well. You can actually sync back or roll back to any checkpoints. You can compare the changes. Maybe Dom can show over time how we can compare any restore points out there. So somewhere, yes, there's a request about GitHub integration, but at the same time, we have everything within one place and we deploy it here. We are not using Vercel or Hostlinger or all those other platforms, which you can do yourself as well. But we are doing it all out there. You see, like exactly like the diff function which you have in GitHub, it's out there itself. So we didn't prioritize that yet. So not in 1 or 2 weeks, maybe months if you really need that. But we're really trying Databutton to be a one-stop platform for everything, from building to version control. We have released the Teams feature. You can collaborate in Databutton. So we have released that the entire pricing plan. You can find it now. A few more kind of nuances will be there, but we'll release it as soon as possible. So those things are also coming up. You can collaborate here. We will have a one-stop platform for everything. You don't need to go away from there. But yes, we're not stopping you. Export the code, take it outside. All help is there to do that. So yeah, that's something. And last thing, sorry, just the import thing.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
We support import of project also. Again, we don't have two-way sync. You can export, you can import a project, but if it's a React.js and Tailwind, you can do that yourself. The team also does it, but being a team of 7, it's not so easy to help. Lately, with super surge of users and thousands of message, we invest a lot in customer support, and we will never leave you alone if you're building. So we need to prioritize that based on the pricing plan. That's something we can help you with importing in your project, make it somehow work in Databutton as well, because we have a structured format of working Databutton. So we'll do that. But for that, we really need to be in a different pricing plan, and then that's how we need to make sure that we could support you. Sorry, Mike, please go ahead now.
No, I was just about to say about the imports. So when I first came to Databutton in November, the imports was even available then, and I brought in my app that I'd been building. First I was on V0, then I went to Bolt New, and then what I had from those I then took and built. I basically imported it into Databutton using the import function, which you can do yourself, and then you just ask the agent to read through the files and get an understanding and build a structure for it. So yeah, I know, Charles, I can't believe it either, but it's a team of 7, well, technically 8 now, I guess. There's 8 of you now working on this, but this team, the way that these guys build this stuff and ship out fixes and ship out new features, like Dom and I, we always have this running joke of, right, can we spot a new feature before the guys announce it, because there's always these new things popping up. There was one that I spotted with Dom yesterday where it was to do with the custom instructions, and it was like strict instructions, this little button that the guys are kind of playing around with. So there is so many features that these guys are building. It is pardon me, it is super impressive.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, Mike, after that
I was just going to say, slightly unrelated, but one question that I have seen asked quite frequently lately in the Discord, as well as integration with GitHub, is the ability to build mobile apps. Avra, I know that's something that's on the roadmap, but that's also probably going to be a few months down the road, isn't it?
Sorry, can you comment? So it's the mobile apps building feature, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now in Databutton, like I always answer in this way. Right now, you can build very beautiful looking mobile apps basically the web apps, which works very nicely in your mobile screen, your iPad screen, or even your, of course, the web apps. Yes, we don't have a feature to ship your app in Apple Store or Android Store. We don't have that feature yet. We there are a few users who actually hacked into that feature and actually exporting it for mobile apps. That's possible. Yeah, if you really need to export that, we know few tools which can do that, but it's not so easy. Databutton has a backend out there which is in Python and using fast API, so it's not so straightforward. That's why taking the tech team. And when we say 7 of us, but I should also add, yeah, 7 of us are in here in Oslo Databutton team, but we had fantastic interns from Singapore. And yesterday, I think one of them you guys met over Discord streaming, and we should always be very, very, like, how to say, we're grateful for them who comes all over from Singapore. We have a close collaboration with that university. Since in Databutton, 7 of us, at least, like majority of us are comes from academic background, and we really love to hang out with these amazing people who are still in college doing this masters, doing their computer science degrees, and they come from. We have a close collaboration with this NUS, the National University of Singapore, and from there we had a couple of people with whom I think Dom has worked and still working with Jay. So.
Okay.
And we are in so much in close, we are still in touch with them, and those guys are still in touch from Singapore. So literally we have a kind of a Singapore team out there now. Those guys are working in their free times with us, with Databutton, building apps for our users. And there where when you call as this support, can you speak agent human support plan and human support work? I think we have this too, one where the entire team builds it. So we have a Singapore team, which is basically this amazing people who have initially worked with us, and now they are helping to our users, our paid customers. Dom has built one of his business tool with us, and that time this amazing guys, they have built entirely for Dom, I think, and they're fantastic developers. So they have built that entire thing. Yeah. So we are still in touch. So we are 7, but we have this amazing support of the community and these guys who has worked with us. So we are really grateful as a team to have them. Just one thing, can you speak to our agent plus human support plan? If I'm not wrong, in our pricing, yes, we have. So two things which you have. I always get confused with the pricing thing. Dom, will you please go ahead with the app? Meanwhile, I'll just quickly check.
Oh yeah,
Please go ahead. Yeah.
We're working on it right now.
So we have 2 things. So one of them is let me check. Okay, so the agent plus human support. Okay, I get it now. So agent plus human support is somewhere our dev team who helps you whenever you're working. Our dev team will be in close contact with you guys. We have a Slack channel where we make sure we prioritize you guys to reply to each of your questions, answer when you're building with Databutton, and we make sure one of us will be there to help you to get unstuck from whenever you have some struggle to build or something. We will make sure that you are unstuck with that. Any small feature which you want to build with us, we can do that, but we'll mainly help you to get unstuck. Secondly, we can brainstorm the app development with you. We'll jump onto our calls. We'll jump onto over your app. As I said, Databutton, you can collaborate with everyone. So you can invite us. We just jump into, and that's the human support you get. And yeah, and then the import part, which I think someone just mentioned, that includes in that section as well. If you have some app which you build in other places, or you have your own cursor built apps, just bring it to us, and just bring it to us. We'll make the import and everything ready. And they're like, okay, Charles. Yeah, I think we know, like, Charles is over Slack and he can confirm. Yes, we just make sure, although it's a lot of thousands of messages, but we make sure that we have to prioritize. Otherwise, it's becoming difficult. But we end up answering to everyone over our intercom. So we have Slack support now. We have intercom support, the small chat box which you see when building with Databutton. We have a community support as well. So we have different tiers of support, and 7 of us, doesn't matter who is there, we will reply to you. Yes, we at times, it takes us even 5 seconds to reply. At times it takes us 2 or 3 days. We won't go beyond that. But if you tag us, we will reply. Otherwise, we have amazing people like El or Mike or Dom, and we have Emil now. These guys are helping round the clock. And so, yeah, support is something which is, as our CEO Trigve says, is the heart of the company for us.
Yeah.
And we make sure that we provide that. All right, let's
think
come to the building section. Or yeah, Mike, please.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think that really sets you guys apart. Is that on the one hand, I know I have seen some people say, oh, I couldn't get a response, within 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. It's not an AI platform backed up by an AI chatbot. It's an AI platform backed up by actual human people who aren't spread across the world. All 7 of you are all in Oslo together. So obviously the guys have to sleep, they have to eat, they have families. So, I think it's just fair to remind people that, Databutton is at this kind of this tipping point, where it's really getting a lot of visibility, it's getting a lot of popularity, and it's amazing. But that's why, as you say, Avra, the community is really important, and the wider collaboration is really important. Dom and El and I and Emil as well, we've all actually collaborated and exchanged links and shared our projects with one another when we're stuck, and I think that's something that none of us pay each other for that. It's a collaborative thing that we all learn from one another and we all help each other out. And I think that's something that it's worth mentioning to people, that okay, none of us are going to necessarily be available 24/7. I think that's something just to set expectations. But I think when you go there, as long as you go in with the understanding that you're not talking to an AI agent, you are talking to people at the other end who are humans, who are knowledgeable, who have got experience in different things. There is going to be somebody that will help you at some point. It's just not going to be that instant agent reply, because it's human, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think I was just smiling because one of the comments which came over our Discord channel, that I think it was Viral who said that eat, sleep, and drink well. And I think then someone said that, yeah, don't forget to message to your partner or wife or girlfriends as well, like eat, sleep, drink, and also spend time with them.
There's so many nights where Lauren's like, are you coming to bed? And I'm like, yeah, 5 minutes. And I'm on Databutton. And 3 hours go by and it's like 3 a.m. And Abra's like, you're still awake?
I saw Viral did a post on LinkedIn actually regarding the addictive nature of Databutton, and how some people have basically posted saying that they spend more time on Databutton than with their families and with their loved ones, and all this sort of stuff. So it is quite addictive. I myself am quite disappointed that lately I haven't had enough time to spend on Databutton as I did in the past. So so yeah, it is. I mean, it's because the funny thing is that you're building something without necessarily having the knowledge of how to build, right? You're not having the knowledge of how to code, but you have an idea in your mind, and if you're able to articulate that, you suddenly have something in front of you, which is is such a dopamine fix. That it can't be understated as to how satisfying that can be.
Okay, I think it has been quite a while. Dom has
Poor
built
Dom,
a lot of
poor
stuff.
Dom has been just working away in the background. Poor Dom.
No, let's bring us to the app. What's happening here? Can Databutton walk app? No, Databutton says deploy app. Shall we deploy, or let's give a quick yeah.
So we created the contact page. We created the contact details page. We can call straight from the application.
Nice.
We now have a schedule events. So we created this nice form where we can set up reoccurring or current events. And when we create one, we can go see the event in a nice calendar format.
Wow, that's the calendar. Nice. And you can just also book some dates or something?
Yeah, you can add whatever event you want. You could associate it to whatever contact you want, or if it's just you by yourself, you can do that. You can set it as a repeating event. And then we also have all the enable notifications.
Is
Yeah.
it working? Is it already connected to your database? Let's come to the database, which was the topic for
Here you
today.
go. So
Oh, cool.
yep, and it's associated with the contact, or with rather Mike's record, or my user, right? So we've got all the contacts associated with my user, and we have all the events associated with my user. And so these are the three future events that we have coming up, including the reoccurring Databutton stream.
Shall we book the next Tuesday's hangout session out there? I think so. Next Tuesday, I might not be there, but I think Mike and Dom, you guys can carry the Discord hangout. Or maybe I'll jump in.
We'll carry the show for you, Avra. Don't worry. We'll
Great.
carry the show.
That'll
Don't
be
worry.
perfect. Let's book it in our calendars then.
All right, and is that next Tuesday? The
Next Tuesday. Let's do it from 8 to 9. I think that's a good time. We do our Discord hangout, community hangout, and where we discuss about the features and stuffs. I can also share the link to you guys. Maybe you should add that as the event link.
Okay, there we go.
I am doing such a shameless plug-in today. I'm really doing that today.
Just on talking about the Hangouts, actually, I think it's also worth mentioning that every Tuesday we have the community Hangouts. But the community Hangout channel is actually open 24/7.
That's right.
And whenever we have time, myself, Dom, Emil, I think has done it now. Elle does it. We don't have as much time probably as we would like, but if we do have some time and we're going to be sitting on Databutton and we're going to be, programming or prompting ourselves, we tend to just go in, we'll share it with the community and we'll say, right, I'm going to be going into the community hangout for the next hour or so. If anyone wants to jump in, have a look what I'm doing, etc., etc. We have that as well, which I think a lot of people have found quite useful because it's another way to just chat and interact and bounce ideas and so on. So those aren't scheduled; those are just as and when we have time.
Yeah. So those are like unscheduled one where you can just literally jump in, start building, share your screen, discuss with people. And if you want something which is scheduled where you might speak with or get some feedback from the team or something which you have to pass to the team, anyways, you can reach the team right there over Discord itself. But again, the community hangout, it's much more bit organized in a way where we discuss what we're gonna build, what we not gonna, what do the next in the roadmap, or something which the team has is building on, or the feature will be released tomorrow or something. Then you can join this link and we have a community hangout session. Complain, share love, share dislikes. We're just gonna hear, and it's a great place to do that.
The community, I'm pretty sure I'm correct in saying this, Avra, but anyone can go into the community hangout at any time and share. So that it doesn't need to be that me, Dom, Elle, Emil, or yourself are there. Anyone can go in and anyone can just use it as a voice chat channel, essentially.
That's right.
To share their screen and chat with other people as well. So that's the whole point of it being called the community hangout.
And if it's any restriction, just shout. I think we can just create a hangout, a separate channel, and everyone can just go in and start building. All right. We have actually just built. Oh, we are just adding some images. Yeah, let's do that, and then slowly maybe we can just wrap up this entire session, and we have our database integrated with our app. And it's I think like we spent 3 hours on this app. Like, okay, let's say even less than 3 hours because we speak so much about this and that and this.
Well, let's be fair. Today, Dom has spent an hour and 20 minutes on it. You and I have been just gassing and gossiping and chatting. Poor Dom has been the one doing all the work.
The last day, the only time I was like, oh, what's the code here? And that was like when we okay, we finished it.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's fantastic to do that.
Yeah, so we've done a lot today. We've added contacts page, contact details. We've added events. We've added a calendar page. We've added a vision board for goals.
Nice.
And we talked
and
about.
We added an error also. I saw an error out there. Nice error out there. Function set the call with invalid. Okay, that's invalid data. Yeah, let's see if we can fix it. By the way, Dom, I think it will be fantastic if we can just give a quick tour of the left-hand side, but where we have the pages with the shield. That means that it's under protection of the authentication. That means, and we have, Dom has how many pages? Quite like almost 13 pages.
13
So
pages.
we are not building a simple UI out here. We are building something way more complicated. And those are just the UI pages. Then we have the UI components, which is 9 of them out there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the utility files, which is 7 of them out there. So we have the UI components. Components are nothing but the reusable parts of your app. So anything which you want to reuse number of times, there where the components play into act. For example, let's say calendar is one component and the dashboard page is one of the page. So you can use the UI component into a dashboard page. And again, this is where Databutton shines a lot. It can break down into different parts your app. And then we have the utility files, which takes care of your databases like your Firebase database or Superbase database. Those also in a separate segmentation. So everything is broken down into nice way so that it's accessible for everyone. And then we have the backends if you need a backend. And yeah, let's see. How is it going? Oh, we ticked one task now. I feel.
Yeah, we've got a number of tasks completed, and
Wow.
now we've done the vision board. So everything is accessible from the dashboard, and it's automatically creating these links. So we've got our calendar, we have let's see, goals.
Mm-hmm. And I think like it's great to see that how each and every pieces are
Mhm.
getting added to your one page, and then after you can just navigate between them all within this one preview. If someone is like planning to take it outside or open a new tab, you can just hit that open preview to open to a new tab.
Yep.
Uh,
And now we've got our goals, and again, it created a super nice modal to
Wow.
go ahead and set this up, and you can add collaborators to your goal and upload images.
Mm-hmm.
So
And everything stored to the Firestore database. Everything in the storage, right?
everything is stored here. So now we have contacts, events, and goals collections,
Cool. Pretty cool.
and
Pretty
all
cool. Like,
under the individual user. So all the data is siloed.
so that's the structure of your let's say that's the hierarchy of your data. So it is a user unique ID, and then it comes contacts, event, goals for each of this user unique ID, and then inside them there are more details to it. That's a hierarchy which is maintained for the Firestore database. It comes like more like a document,
Mhm.
more like a document, then collection, and then again few documents, and then the fields come out there. That's where compared to Superbase, Firebase has this structure of working. So make sure like when you use it, make sure that's the hierarchy, and you can also kind of discuss this with the agent itself. It's pretty good in that.
Yeah, definitely. And just looking at what we've done today,
Yeah, like how much of credit is consumed, because that's one of the questions which a lot of users
yes,
have.
look at in an hour and a half, we've added all of these components. We've added all of these pages. We've added all of these UI components. And to look at how many prompts we've given the agent, we've done 4 tasks. So I've given the agent 4 prompts,
4 prompts.
maybe 6 because we've had a couple of issues that we've had to fix. It's all simple stuff that, like, again, just in plain English, hey, when user clicks and this doesn't work, fix it.
Yeah. So the working model where you just added only 4 prompts, but then the agent starts to work on it. Just to clarify here, Databutton, the credits are not based on how many prompts you send. So you can just go on conversing with the agent.
Yep.
That doesn't matter the credits. Credit matter when the agent writes to your any files. It can be 1 credit for 10 file changes. It can be 1 credit for 1 single line. And it's very hard to compute that in a way, but it's one of the most efficient way. So as your app scales, we are not computing the token out here. Doesn't matter if your app is like huge or giant. We are not computing the token. We're computing the AI edit changes or the checkpoints which we have in the restore version. So that's how the credits are computed out here in Databutton. So you get 1 credit deduct based on the number of changes the agent made. At times the agent makes 10 changes, you still get 1 credit as a cost. It's also efficient in that way.
Yeah.
And it's only for successful code change we charge 1 credit. That's one thing which we make sure. We're trying to also reach to a point where if the changes made has not been like reached to the main goal of a user, maybe we don't charge the full credit, maybe we just did at half credit. We are trying to figure out the best way to do that. So any suggestion or something, please shoot over our Discord channel or here. We're open to that.
So it's
But
16 prompts, Evra, is what
It-
it took to do.
16 credits. Yeah, so there were all the checkpoints. So the ones which is 2 days, it should be the one. So it's approximately 16, or let's say 20 credits.
Yep. And that's to build all of this that you see on the left hand side, everything in green.
Yeah.
And
So-
it functions.
Those can be like hundreds of lines of code,
Mhm.
or let's say
Yeah.
then the token size is also huge, but still it costs you 16 credits. So that takes into account also. It's pretty impressive to see that part. And I feel those code blocks are not small ones.
Now they're big. I mean, the event form is almost 1,000 lines.
Yeah,
Wow.
I very much agree. Like that's what we also often discuss, that if you scale your app, the price becomes so reasonable.
Mhm.
Yes, compared to any other in the market, maybe it feels like it's the same. But when you start to scale your app, again, Databutton is for building really scalable app.
Yep.
The price becomes even cheaper than compared to any other AI tools,
Yep.
because it charge based on credits, not based on token size. So even if you have 700 lines of code in 10 places, and if the agent make change in the 10 places at one go, it's only one credit.
Yeah.
So that's something which the credit deduction takes place. All right. So what's next, Dom? How shall we wrap it up, or shall we just go on building for the next?
I was going to do one thing that I thought would be cool
Let's
is
do that. Yeah,
this-
sure.
skip ahead, but I have this workout meal planner idea right here, and I already have an API key that I generated from ChatGPT. So I thought let's show some people
Yeah,
how,
let's do that. Let's do that then.
and let's see how easy it
I
is.
mean, we have consistent audience.
Yeah.
So as long as they are there, we are there. Or Mike, how is your schedule?
I'm gonna have to leave you guys because my poor dog is whining at me to take her out. So
Oh my.
I shall bid you guys farewell.
Eat,
But
sleep, drink well, take care of partners, take care of your pets as well.
exactly. But
I agree.
always
Um,
great to hang out with you guys, and hope to speak to everyone in the Discord.
It is always fantastic to have you, Mike. I think we should do some sessions like this, and lot to learn. And yeah,
Absolutely.
you see when we're in touch. And everyone, just shoot a message to Mike if you guys are building with Databutton, or you guys need some help, or somewhere you guys want to clarify something. Mike is there over Discord, and I think he's a fantastic guy to hang out always. Cheers, man.
Cheers, Evra.
Have a
See
good
you,
night.
Dom.
Cheers. All right, let's do. So we're building the API now.
Yep, we're gonna do one last thing, and we're gonna try to integrate ChatGPT and have it build some meal plans. And
When you say ChatGPT is the GPT-4o.
yeah, we use
same
GPT.
API.
Yep. Mhm.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see it. I want to see how easy it is, which I have
Yeah,
a it's going to be pretty easy.
Should be, because that's something which Databutton does very easily. Again, here comes Databutton's Python backend. It writes the code in Python, and that how you create this backend which you can connect with the front end. So it shouldn't be difficult at all. But let's see if we can build one.
And it did a really nice job at creating the outline of what we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm happy that we covered quite a lot, like in the last 3 sessions. So we covered from, I think, the landing page to authentication to profile creation, then to have the Stripe integration.
Yep.
And that was the whole idea of this sessions. I don't know, Tom, shall we expand this to session 4 or not? For sure, we can do that. But the idea to launch a series.
Yeah.
We thought of like 3 session would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think we could reach that goal.
Well,
really,
I think we can definitely come up with something different to do.
yeah,
sure.
sure. We should do something maybe like we should bring one of the topic which people are discussing over Discord.
Yep.
We can do that. We can also do a live building session. Like I think the main reason behind this live streams were to showcase the key parts like the authentication, database storage, and Stripe. That was the three key parts because we get a lot of questions about that, and we can always just share with people that just watch this live stream. We did the entire debugging and everything transparent there, nothing hidden. We debugged it, we got errors, we fixed it, and we explained each and every step. So that was one of the main reasons, and I think it's good that we covered the main aspects. We can rebuild another thing which has this part. It's more of an MVP or even beyond MVP we are creating now. But I think this is good enough as an MVP, and you can just share with people and just go on building from there.
And maybe we can also, you could put a poll out there too on the Discord to see what do people want to see.
That's a good idea. A poll in our community share Discord channel, and we can see what people want to build. Dom, would you be please kindly show the overview section to give a idea of people who are joining what we have created until now? Or maybe you can just walk through the pages and the UI components which we have built.
So we built this landing page. We built login, logout. We built the pricing page and the sign up page.
Yeah.
Today alone, we've built the contacts page.
Yeah, so that's a contacts with the rate connected to all the UI components. Those are the reusable components used in the contact page.
Yep, we built the contact details page.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I really like this view. It's so nicely. You can just have a glimpse of this. Yeah,
it really is awesome. This is such a great tool because you've got so many components. You really don't always know what they do. The agent just creates them. It doesn't really tell you what it's doing.
Yeah. I think that way it's and then the I think if I'm not wrong, the backend is black in color out there, which we see, and then we have the APIs also, which is gray and black in color, all connected. I think those are the routers, if I'm not wrong, the gray ones. And every backend has a router API calls which you can make.
Yep. Yeah. Really cool.
Can you? I'm just curious. Can you select one of the backend? I'm just curious. Where is it connected?
Yeah, it doesn't connect to anything up here. Maybe we just haven't connected it to the UI yet.
Yeah, it hasn't connected to the UI yet. So yeah. But just to explain, I think that's one of the backend which has different routers. If I know, those are API and there's a backend. Makes sense. So Databutton creates Python backend, and it uses fast API routers. So those are the APIs which Databutton can generate, and those APIs are connected to the front end. That's how it works. I think it should be.
And
And now I think Dom is using the plan and the task feature, so you can always update your plan, add a comment section to it. That's a very nice way to work with the plan feature, and Dom has almost mastered it now.
Yeah.
And you can also start with keep a plan in pause mode. You can start a plan, work on it, and that helps the agent a lot to stay very aligned to the user. So you are using Databutton as your collaboration, as your dev with whom you are working together, you are syncing in, and you are building. And there were this plan mode, the task mode, the task execution mode, that helps a lot. Also, which is very rarely used, but I love that feature, is discuss the plan and discuss the progress. So if you're someone who is building for almost hours and hours, and you just want to make sure where are you at the progress, you can hit that the very top of the task button out there. You can just hit discuss the progress or discuss the plan, like what you have to do next and what you have made progress with. It's a very fantastic way of showing the to-do list and to get an overview. And you can also edit, which Dom is now doing, editing the description of a task, so that you are kind of telling your junior developer that I want to do this task in this way. Make sure you're aligned with me.
And the agent is having trouble right now storing in secrets, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of nudge to.
Yeah. Or I think, or you can just, like we did in the last live stream, you can just tell the agent itself that you can I think we need to store the secrets. Can you give me a storage input
Yeah.
placeholder or something? That also works pretty well. By the way, one thing which we also not we need to mention, I think that's worth to also note that agent can also update your task. You can leave a comment to your task. So
Mhm.
maybe like Dom, if you show one of the tasks where agent has added a lot of comments, like I think the very first one or second one, or
Yeah.
one of them. So this is where the agent is actually the two-way sync. The agent is updating the task with comments. So it's leaving its own comments, how it did that. So if it did any mistake or suddenly the user wants to have a different path while implementing a function,
Yep.
agent updates back. So it's a two-way sync with the task feature, which is really fantastic. I mean, to have a entire history of how a feature was built, everything is kept in sync in one place. And I think that's something which is very nice to look back. So after today, after two live streams, after like almost 1 hour of live stream, now
Mhm.
we can look back in our very first task, which is a create a model landing page. And if we look back, there was some initial description of it. From
Yep.
there, agent there's a title, there's a description, then there was some activity. There was some activity by the agent which went on added there in the comment section. And if you have your own comment, you can add that there also. So the entire history of how you worked it, it's again synced. So
Yep.
it's like your dev beside you. Sorry, Dom. Please
No,
go ahead.
no, it's cool. You're doing a great job. The task function is really wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that. Like when I started to work alongside the task, because normally I was before 2.0 was there, I was not used to
Okay.
like I
It's
was still very used to. Oh yeah, the secret is back. I
Yep.
was like that. I was more used to prompt directly, but after this workflow came, things changed a lot. By the way, now the agent, since Dom updated that few description, agent now started to give a placeholder, and I think Dom passed your Open API key or
I
what do
did.
you
I just pasted my Open
Open API key? Yeah,
It
and
looks like
now yeah,
we need to let's start a new thread and let's continue.
yeah, we are facing this issue. Oops, I ran into this issue. Yeah, with the secret call. Uh, but one thing which you can do to avoid that is we can just actually manually add over secrets. And
Okay.
also, let's see if agent can do it.
Let's see.
Usually that works pretty seamlessly,
Mhm.
the tool calling. But normally, today I saw this couple of times. The with the secret mainly, there was this error of the tool calling. But let's see if the agent can fail. If the agent fails now, we can just do it manually as well.
Yeah, there's no problem. Let's see where we're at. And we can also just look and see if it did store anything. I don't think it did, but
There's a secret. Oh, it had it actually. So I think the confirmation was wrong.
yeah, sometimes it does that. Sometimes it says it failed, but it continues to work. So
Yeah, probably. That's cool.
let's see what we got here. See, this is so cool. Like, it does things that you don't really think about. Like, I think in a normal dev environment, and I'm not a developer by any means, but I would imagine that in a normal dev environment, if you create something within like the contact details page that has upcoming events, if you want those upcoming events to also sync to your dashboard in a normal environment, you would actually have to go into the dashboard and also link, set up that
Yeah.
communication, right? But
That's right, the router. Yeah.
the agent's aware of the entire scope of your application. So it already knows that within the dashboard, there was an upcoming events card. And it's telling me right now I have 3 events in the next 7 days, and I do. And I didn't ask it to do that.
I feel this behavior of agent has kind of enhanced once we started to have this scope-based task execution mode.
Yeah.
Like you have this particular task and you want to kind of execute that. Now the
Yeah.
agent knows which task you are on to. It thinks about it, it reasons about it, and it knows like what to do next.
Yeah.
That has improved significantly after we have this workflow of working alongside a task.
Yeah. It's
And I think also the newest reasoning model from Claude helped it pushed that feature a bit more, and I think that reasoning model is fantastic. I mean, the Sonnet 3.7, if I'm not wrong. Yeah,
It's pretty incredible.
it's really good.
In like a month, just a month.
Yeah.
I think for April Fool's Day, since it's coming up pretty soon, y'all should just revert it back to what it was
Ah,
in with 24.
yeah. Just yeah. I don't know if everybody will be happy. I know you will be happy because you said let everyone work on 3.5. I'm happy with the previous one already. It's all good for me. Because I remember there was this rate limiting issue, and you're like, oh, okay, let everyone work with the latest one. I'm fine. It works pretty nicely for me already.
I told Viral that I said, hey, can you just put me back on 3.5 when everybody goes to 3.7 so I can just
Use the
Yeah.
take
Nope.
the privilege of being no rate limiting for me. I just go through that entirely. No, it's fantastic. I mean, I think if you're happy with the previous model, I'm pretty sure it'll be. I mean, I know like this 3.7 is way better. So
Yes.
let's see. So we added this new feature now.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know how far we are yet.
Oh, it's writing the code out there. Okay, I didn't see that actually.
Still writing the code, but I think we're getting close. We actually have more viewers now. We're up to 50 viewers. That's the most we've ever had.
Yeah, this is really nice. Like maybe like we should continue for another couple of hours. This is great. I like it.
We call it when we're done with this particular thing, but I think this is a cool feature. Avra, are you building anything right now?
I'm just fixing like users bugs, or if they're building something, if they have any errors in their app, I quickly jump into and then I fix those errors. Mostly that's what I spend my time lately.
Yeah.
But I would love to do something like from scratch, like most of my time. So I think like it was funny because my before this one, my after 2.0, my first 3 streams were all about authentication storage, and I reached to a point where I was so like bored with that kind of like every day I was giving the YouTube stream was about authentication storage. Then I switched to our Discord stream. It was about authentication storage. Then we did another stream, if you remember, after that over YouTube, because I feel that was one of the very first hurdle which our users had. And I was building that a lot, and yeah, that is one of the things which I feel like I should start building an app which is from end to end, a real product maybe. But yeah, the time.
Maybe you can be my first paid customer for LiveSync.
For sure. I would be really happy for the pay for live sync because it's fantastic already. And I can't imagine that we went in 3 sessions out here.
Yeah.
With authentication and Stripe and storage. This is really good. And now we can change the profile picture, some emails.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are adding the open API. So where do you think you will add this API, like this AI functionality? Will it be in the main function where all the will be added and then you analyze with AI?
Yeah, I think the goal with it is to create your meal plans for you.
Mm-hmm.
Create your workout. So I think it'll probably be within your profile or your dashboard, and we'll see if it's added anything yet. But it hasn't had any UI components to that yet. So I think we're getting there. I think the vision board is really cool.
Yeah. We have some Claude's elevated errors on request I shared with you. It's just 1925. Okay, so it was just it was earlier, not now. We had that error in between, but it was fine. We didn't see that. Oh, we'll be having some creating. So there was a new UI component. That's great.
Let's see what we got.
Wow, so like 13 UI components with more than 19 pages. That's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it's coming along.
That's fantastic. Like it's pretty scalable. It's super scalable app. I mean, I really impressed to see that from zero to building something with So many functionalities. It's fantastic, and building everything in live
Hmm.
is great. Really great.
I think it's just cool to show people what can be done and how easily you can do it.
Hmm. I think we're almost there. So it's updating the dashboard now. It's no workout plan found, and then the agent is like planning about it. I think it's updating the types now, which will be the UI files.
Yep.
Almost there. The next steps, and I think it has. Wow, it has covered.
A
It has
lot.
covered a lot of things.
A lot of
Let's
things.
see now.
Prompt.
It gave a summary as well.
Yep.
Let's
So
see.
let's see. So it gave us this nice tab function: workouts, meals, fitness preferences. I mean, it built all. I didn't ask it to do any of this.
Wow.
Is that
And it's
is that
and
nice?
I just really want to mention this part. So it's not like a first UI which we're seeing. It went through the entire app which was already there.
Yep.
And then it created a backend, a Python backend,
Yep.
a UI components, number of UI components, and a UI page as well. And then integrate all of them, the pieces together. That's fantastic.
It is so cool. So let's see. General fitness 3 times a week, 45 minutes a session.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do no equipment, and it'll be cardio.
And I feel it is already connected to the database. If
It
I'm
is.
not,
Yep, for sure. So let's refresh and let's see what it did.
let's see if it did it.
Not yet, but we'll.
Hey,
Oh,
look.
I know where it is. It's stored in users because.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or we can check if this worked or not, because it will trigger a backend if I'm not wrong. Maybe we open the console. I'll just try to hide our face, and maybe we just we can clean the console and then hit the save preferences.
Says
Mhm.
100. So
Yeah, so it should work.
storing.
I'm just curious, does it save in the Firestore, or
Good point. Let's see.
let's see the backend actually.
It's storing it in the preferences. Right?
It's storing out there.
Okay, got
That's
it.
not bad. Like you have a, I mean, we can always tell you that it can literally push it over Firebase as well. So this is the thing, like, we can always explicitly mention that I don't want it to be in the Databutton storage. Rather, I want to push it back to the Firebase. We can do that. But I feel for that, we have to connect. We have to have at least one of the backend, or we can do it via frontend itself, no?
Yeah, we're doing it all via the front end.
Oh, okay. Then it's fine. Then it shouldn't be that difficult. Just say that the after the API is called, from it gives it back to the UI, and from the UI it stores back to the database. We can do that. Technically, we can actually, but I think why to do that when we have everything in the front end? We just need.
It's already there. So I wonder if I can stop it and just remind it.
Yeah, I think let's remind it a bit.
Okay.
We can say that once the API call is finished, make sure that you store the result of that API call back to Firebase via the front end only. We can do that way.
Once API call is finished.
Or maybe can we also tag the API call? Use the hashtag and which API it worked with. Yeah, let's
see.
Wow, it has so many features now.
Here we go.
The result, the output of this API should be saved to the database. Oh wow, it's so nice to prompt this stuff together, and then to the database, which is a Firebase via the front end. Yeah, something like that.
I always like to remind it of something that we're already doing so that it can just go and investigate something real.
Yeah. But I think now what the agent thought probably is, since it is using a backend to analyze the planner, I think it felt that the easiest way is just why not use the backend to store it somewhere.
Sure.
But then if we want to use the backend to store, we need to implement the Firebase functionalities via the backend.
Mm-hmm.
That means we need to pass the we need to pass the secrets and everything. It's like another way of doing it. So what we can do is, since we have the flexibility, one, the backend gives the output, we take it in the front end, and then via front end we store it. Because we have the auth via front end, we have the Firebase utils via the front end. So it shouldn't be that. Let's try it. Let's see if it works or not.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm curious about if this works. Let's see if it generates. So
Yeah, but I think it still needs to update the front end part. It's yeah. I'm checking over Discord community. Wow.
So look, here's our response.
Oh, the response is there. That's pretty cool.
There's the response for the workout plan.
So it understood that part. The response part it understood.
Yep.
Now all it needs to do is store the response back to the front end, or back to the database, Firebase database or Firebase data store via the front end. I think we can just explicitly mention that, or we can just copy the log. Yeah, that's the best way. You can copy the log and say that. Yeah, like they said that the response from the backend should be passed to the front end, and then from the front end stored to the database via the front end. I think that's what we are trying now.
Should be passed to the front end
and stored back to the Firebase database via the front end only. I think that would work. But it's not so straightforward because you were making a call via the backend and then you're just putting it back.
Yeah. Let's see here.
But I'm not sure which collection it will store to.
And we're having issues saving fitness. We're having some errors here.
Yeah, but it's... Mm-hmm.
We'll fix it.
These error logs are something which helps a lot when you start to fix any errors in the front end or in the back end. By the way, I think that's something which we forgot to mention is if you want to check if your backend is working well or not, if it's getting triggered well or not, you can check the post message, which shows like the error. If it's a 500 error or something, if it worked properly, it's 200. Okay, that's the message which you get. You can always check via the console, and I use that a lot. I think Dom, you are also pretty much used to that now, checking the console to see if it worked or not.
Yeah. So let's clear this. Let's see. So when we're
getting this new error. Also, maybe it will be nice to if we mention which UI page or component it is.
Oh yeah, good point.
I think you can figure it out as well.
Yeah, I wonder if this is, like you mentioned, the front end, back end kind of confusion.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that difficult. I feel like if we mention it properly, it can fix that. And I think it will already fix this. It's just it getting that error of getting mail plan, which is receiving status 404. Or yeah, save preferences. Yeah, let's try now. Let's clean the log and okay, it's writing the code now.
Yep.
But still it's getting the, maybe we should test the backend separately.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's test the let's narrow it down. Let's test the backend separately and then let's see how is the response from the backend.
Okay. It's still writing. You want me to stop it?
No, let's let it. That's fine. Let it just finish this and then we test the backend if it works or not. Because it is still checking if the backend part is working because it's trying to test the endpoint, which is great preferences, and there where it fails. Yeah, we can stop this run by the agent,
Okay.
and then maybe we can check it. Let's see.
As it found the issue, according to logs, the correct function is indeed saved as your preferences.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
No luck with that part. I think
Yeah.
we can just stop it and then first check the backend if it's working or not. And this function is something which the agent does very well. So it can actually trigger your backend and test if the backend is working or not. You can do that pretty well. And now we see that it's not about the front end going. It's the backend has some error, I feel.
Yeah.
So we need to fix the backend. Can I see the code by any chance? What's
Sure. For the API.
Mm-hmm. No, I think now it passed it, right? Can we do another test maybe?
Oh, it.
Let's clean the console log and then maybe we can test it again. Or it's just doing another test. Let it do it.
Anyways.
Yeah. And we have this way to make this post call, this router call, which the agent can make it itself. And it can test here. Yeah, you see that it tested the entire stuff and printed it there.
Yep.
And is the output? Do you think okay, the output is entered. Okay, that's fine. I don't know where it gets stored, but now we can try it actually. If this is fixed, we can try from the front end. Let's see if we can do it. So the backend is working. That we are sure now. But I'm still curious how the backend getting stored. But yeah, let's try it. Let's try from front end itself. I'm just curious, if does it store it back to Databutton storage or does it store back to the Firebase? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, it's stuck here on this saving page. Nothing there for workout, so let's refresh this and try again.
No, it actually worked.
Oh, did it work?
It worked, and then it got an error. Let's try. Let's clean the console.
Okay.
And then let's give it a try.
Oh, is it trying to also save dietary preferences as well at the same time?
I think so.
Wow.
I think so. It's trying a couple of things together.
Okay. So it needs to be separate. Okay. Well, says it did it. And did it save it in the back end? No. So
I think it's saved. Let's see. Maybe it's
not quite.
No, I think it's still saving in the data buttons. We can check the backend actually. If we go back to the API and there, and now let's search for db.storage. I think there where it will store. Let's see.
Nope, nothing.
Ah, okay. That's interesting. Interesting. How about I'm just curious where it is doing it. Can you maybe I think it's storing here, I felt in the beginning.
It was here in the beginning, but unless it's overriding.
I'm really curious now to check it probably. Do you mind? Meanwhile, you can also share the app with me. I'm just curious if you can quickly figure out. You can also try it out. It's over at the databutton.io. I'm just curious if I can figure out something. But please go ahead. I'll also try.
I will keep debugging it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Did it go through? Did I do it?
Yeah, feels great.
Yeah,
Try it. You shared it with me?
Yes, Avra at databutton.io.
Uh-huh. Nice. Let's see.
Let's see.
I'm really curious to see your backend functionality, the health planner. Uh-huh. Actually, like that's, if you see, that's actually using your Firestore admin. That's if you look at the code of health planner thing, maybe I can also share it here. I'm really curious to share it.
Oh yeah, Firebase admin, Firebase imports.
Yeah.
So it's not storing for the user itself.
So if I just quickly go through your code here, it's db firestore.client, it's calling the client, and then it's going on storing here. So it's a lot of line of code. It's like 511 lines of code. Okay, the first API. Let me try to check it. Okay, I'm really curious. Can you test the health planner API? I'm just curious what it triggers. Okay, it's just going through it. The observation is testing the endpoint now. I'll just quickly clean it. Look, it ran the entire stuff. It's showing it's successfully saved to Firestore.
It says successfully saved.
Hang on. It's so there's something user test user ID authenticated. Okay, all right. So it's a test one. Okay, test user ID authenticated. If we check this part, test user ID. I don't think it's storing. Can you check at your end at the Firebase? Yeah. I can pull up your.
I'm looking at. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Let's see.
Shouldn't be there anything. Yeah, it's actually just test. Okay, let's do it this way. Now I'll just ask the agent. Can we remove the Firestore database integration from the backend and instead pass the entire output to the front end? And there is an error also now. Are you making some changes now?
I think it's running right now. I'll stop it.
Okay. No worries. It's all good.
And keep going.
Yeah, it made some error here. Can we just quickly restore? Maybe restore to this point. Confirm restore. Let's see. Let's see if I can restore this. Okay, can we remove the Firebase integration from the backend? Let's hang on. Okay, so when it restores, it just goes on and check it. Failed to restore the previous version. It's just the same. Okay, all right, good. Can we remove the Firestore? Phew. Let's see, test the backend first. I'll just again do a quick test after the restore. I just got OpenAI, if I'm not wrong. Point tested. There I get this test user ID. Okay, now it runs properly.
Okay.
But still, I feel like it's a mock data which is running.
Yeah, nothing here yet for collections. Nothing here yet. Just contacts, events, and goals.
Yeah, because I feel that's a mock data which is it's running. It's somewhere it's a mock data because so what happened was, if I'm not wrong, what happened was it used the Firebase admin from the backend. It didn't use the front end in this case.
Got it.
So that's why it's constantly running there, and it's expecting that when it tests, it will get this part. It will get the test user ID, and it's just using a test user ID to it. Maybe you just need we can actually really just pass a real test user ID. That's interesting. What inputs do you accept? By any chance, have we already stored the Firebase? No, we haven't added the backend also. No, so we need to do everything via the front end in this case. Otherwise, we need the secret file as well.
Yeah, no, let's keep it with the front end to keep it consistent.
I will just quickly end this here, and what I would do is hang on. I just want to refresh this browser quickly. I just want to stop that test endpoint thing. It's still running. It. Can we remove the... Can I mute that sound?
Yeah, I don't know why that's going on. I have it on Do Not Disturb, but it's...
Yeah, that's okay.
Making noise.
Remove the health planner, storage app, data store via the backend. Remove all the functionality to store to Firebase data store. Instead, just return the response. Okay, all right. So now hopefully we'll be back in track. Let's see. Okay, I asked it to remove the Firebase integration from the backend. And I'll just ask it. I'm just trying to scope back a bit because that was the right way.
I told it. I've been telling it front end for every prompt so far, and this time I didn't.
Yeah, so one of the things which I think happened was these things are getting returned, but when it starts to store, here it also starts to parse it. I don't think the parse thing is important here, the response part.
Yeah.
But let's see. So I would be happy if it removes this part of the code where it's trying to add the Firebase or Firestore integration. If that can be removed and we just get the output at the front end. Also, you need to remember, I think also the output is quite a lot of stuff. It should have been, you see,
a
lot of things which is getting stored.
Yeah, it should have been more simple, but the agent,
Yeah.
you know how it does it.
Yeah.
It is incredible, though.
No, this is fantastic. I mean, I'm really impressed to see it has actually implemented this almost 500 lines of code out here.
Yeah.
And it's using GPT-4o Mini, by the way.
Okay.
And it's using this reference format, which is a planning for it.
Yeah.
And then it's using the latest GPT-4o Mini to create that output, the planning thing which you have added. And once this entire thing is done, it thought that it will store, the same workout plan here. And here it was supposed to take the authorized. It's sad that I asked for removing so many things, but it was supposed to take the authorized user ID, We could
Yeah.
have done that, but for that again, you need to create the secrets, the config key, pass it back to the secrets, and then it will fetch from there, and then that would have been also doable. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just asked it to remove that entire stuff from here.
The key here is though, if I would have prompted the same front end prompt, it
Mhm.
would have done correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have, but it's all good. I mean, we can fix it. There's always something or other which, and I think that one of the issue is like we are using a backend, a Python backend for generating the output, and then we are planning to store it via the front end. So there where it got a bit confused, but yeah, why not fix it then?
Yep.
And as you can see, it was trying to do it since Firebase was not initialized because there was no config key.
Right.
It was using a mock data for development.
Right.
So that was one of this error. Just a lot of things, the fitness level, the goals,
It's cool though.
I'm really curious what it will use now. How does it look in the front end, by the way? If it should be the dashboard, or
You go to health,
okay, I have to sign in first then maybe.
it's not showing anything yet.
I have to sign in. All right, I have something in my health. Welcome back. Cool.
Oh, do you? Nice.
See, out here I have so many things. And if I now see here, I'm pretty sure it has used the brain module to do that.
Yeah, so I got some errors. It's saying it can't, it's error retrieving subscription. And then it's saying
Where do you see the errors?
attempting to get document, no document exists, false, no preferences document found.
Okay, that's a different, I think. Now it's fine.
Now it's fine.
Yeah.
But still not saving in Firebase or Firestore.
Yeah, but I think that has less to do with here. It's more of way to fix this particular. And there where I feel something the agent needs to. What I would do is, if we can fix this, it should be.
I almost wonder if the right, like for the viewers, the right course of action if something like this happens is to just restore back to before we started this task and then correct the prompt and start over. And I wonder if it would.
Yeah, we can do that as well. We can always do the restore. But I'm really now curious about this integration. It's cool that we have the Stripe webhook also intact now, which should be the same. Yeah, the Stripe setup which we did last time. Hang on, I'll just try. Let's see. I'll just give her another last try. Can we simplify the health planner and make sure we remove the Firebase integration completely? it's first trying to fix this. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
So I just want to remove all the Firestore related code.
Right.
This guy's
Huh?
we saw a comment. This guy's can't code with this. Yeah, it's sad. We are not, both of us are not that technical to code with this. I hope we were. All right, I'm really doubtful about the fact when it's writing this part of the code, it still failed to import the Python modifier. That's fine, but here I'm just. Let's see, because the writing code is taking long, which I'm not sure. We're a bit. What do you think, Dom?
I think that we should restore.
You think you want to restore that part, previous part?
Well, I don't know.
I feel like we're too close to that, actually.
I mean, if we're close, let's let it do its thing. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I feel like we're too close to that. And it's sad that we have to restore that part then. Okay, we did some changes now, finally. Let's see if we can just do it now. But the only part which I feel like still we have to remove quite a lot of codes out here.
Yeah. That's kind of the problem.
Because it has this, the entire thing still is using the backend.
Yeah. So we've got a ways to go.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if we have some luck. But I'm still feel like this thing is there is still this part which is using the Firestore collection. So we have to remove that. Or you want to restore that part? We can do the restore then. All right, Dom. You want to? We can make a restore to that.
To before we created it.
Yeah, maybe the backend part we have to restore then before we do that. And yeah, that part I feel like it's still I see here. it's using the db.firestore.collection. This part. Yeah, I think that part we should restore. Do you want to restore at your end?
No, you take care of it. I don't want to restore it to the wrong place.
Let's do that then. And we have, let's see. Was it your Firebase local storage or? I think this part, create OpenAI API key for workout and meal plans. And here you did it, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's
take it all the way back. Yep.
And
or actually it would be before that, right? Because it'll be
here. Because you created the OpenAI API key there.
Yeah.
I feel it should be here. Let's see. Let's try to restore this part. But okay. All right. So this is something which we failed. Maybe we should try something next time. What do you think, Dom? I feel that part needs to be fixed. We can do a next live stream because I think it's almost 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the last thing which we failed, it's okay. It's okay. But what we have built until now, it's pretty cool. Not bad.
Super
Do you want to
cool.
give a quick demo of what we have built until now, Dom?
Yeah. Yeah. No, let's do it.
Shall I share your screen? Do you want to share your screen? Add to stage. Here you go. It's all yours, sir.
You got it. All right. So we've done a lot of stuff, but we've created the landing page. We set up the Firebase authentication. We've created the user profile management system. We've set up the dashboard. We implemented Stripe last time. And then for today, we basically set up everything to do with contact management, the calendar, the vision board, the workouts and meal planner. So just looking at where we are, starting with contacts, we have contacts here. We have contact card, a contact details page. You can call straight from the application. These are all things we did today. We added the schedule events and create an event. We can view an event that takes us to a calendar with a total.
And it's still that weekly live stream and the Discord hangout is still there.
Yeah.
That's cool. So those things are intact. So the last part which we failed here today was adding the planner part, the next part, right?
Yeah.
Which should be the health. Yeah. When we start that. Yeah, that's something which we need to try. Maybe we can do that in the next live stream.
Yeah, we're working on this, but next time we'll do it.
That's the last goal which we failed. Yeah. That I agree with the last comment, which if these guys can't code, yeah, that part we failed. I'm sorry, man. I hope next time we can fix that part. Hopefully that's the only part which we can fix it. And yeah, it's not so easy. And if you really see, this is we expanded quite a lot in 3 hours. Plus today we did extra 1 hour of debugging. So it's like, let's say it's around 4 hours of building from authentication to database to Stripe integration to this. So I think it's fantastic. Okay, great stuff. Dom, with the prompting, live prompting, it's not so easy. So
no, that's good.
And maybe also our database is all set up. So the last part would be, we should finish this final integration. Would be great to have a fresh start and maybe eat, sleep, and take a bit of rest, and then we go back and do this integration for the next live stream. That'll be fantastic.
And I would say for everybody out there watching what we just went through, the biggest issue here was that in my prompt, I did not mention to use the front end, which the agent should remember that, but just good rule of thumb to always mention important things like that so that the agent knows.
I think like if something which we were discussing at the very beginning also with Superbase integration with front end and the back end, which it get confused. So maybe something which we could have added specifically in the prompt. That would have been good. But that's a good learning. So we can always capitalize on that in the next stream.
Yep.
Fantastic. Perfect. Okay, we are wrapping this up. So any comments, anything? Fantastic. And then we see each other next week If not, next week. I'm not sure about next week, but let's
Yeah.
see if we can fix next week. Otherwise, the Discord live stream is up there. So if anyone wants to join there,
Well, remember, you're going on vacation, so it's going to be.
yeah, let's see. I will try. I'll try. If not this week, maybe the next week we'll just follow up with this one.
Okay.
Yes, perfect then. It was great, and thank you everyone for joining. We have a lot of viewers still. That's
Yeah.
great.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Really.
much. Cheers.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'm ending the stream. See ya, guys.
Bye, guys.
You.